What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to my channel. I'm trying something a little bit different here. I want to do a little webcam interaction, but also talk about what I traded today. And a lot of you guys were like, let's just get to the nuts and bolts. Let's get to why you traded it, what made you look at the stock, why did you trade the way you did, what was your plan, and did you stick with it, what was the outcome? So that's what I'm going to do here. Hopefully this helps you guys learn. Give me some feedback, comment below, hit the thumbs up button, subscribe, and that shows me that you're enjoying this content. So let's get into it. So I was looking at this stock NNDM, and that's because it was a huge runner the day before, which was this day, the 8th, which was, I believe, a Friday. And I believe, no, it was Monday actually. That's what it was. And we have here huge volume, which I'm always looking for. I'm always looking for big volume, something that's abnormal than before. I'm not looking for, if you look here in this chart, you see there's no volume. It looks like it never traded it, but obviously it did. And then out of nowhere, we have huge volume. Comes in, skyrockets, goes from $1.30 all the way up to $3.30, which is a big gain, right? So that caught my attention. That means I'm interested. I want to look at it and I want to see what's going on. What's the chart look like? So at this point, I'm thinking this has room to come down, right? It has a lot of range, and that's what I want to see. So when I go into the 1 minute chart, this was what I was looking at. I noticed that this stock near the close, it had a huge panic down from 310 all the way down to 280, which is pretty significant in 1 minute, right? This looks scary. If you were in the stock, you'd probably be like, shit, but maybe you can. So that being said, when it panicked, I noticed that, and I wasn't going to short it in the, right before at the end of the day. I wanted to see how it closed. It closed weak, so the next day I'm thinking maybe we'll get a spike up to resistance at the 280s, maybe. But then I was thinking if this gap's down big enough, then I may be looking to short it beforehand for a red-green move. And that's what it did today. Let's go to today. So it closed, this goes back to a daily chart. On this day, it closed at 268. And let's go to today. So 268 is right. Let's draw that right here. So this is 268, that red line, right? 268 right here is the red green or green to red move. So whenever this gap down already down to 240, I was thinking if this spikes up near 260s, I'm shorting, risking 268. So when it spiked up near the open right here, right before the open, right here on this candle, I shorted full size position right around, I think I get in at 258. So 10-cent risk, which is something I was very comfortable with. It opened, spiked to 265 and stuffed and went down to 247. I took a quarter off just to take some offer out the gate just in case. And I'm glad I did, because in the end it actually went through my risk level and broke through. And so I got out of the stock, took a small hit, but I noticed it spiked right in the 280s, which was yesterday where it topped out right here in the 280s, right? So that caught my attention, although I didn't want to short it right away because, number one, emotions are involved. As soon as you take a loss, it's hard for me to jump right back in because I know that my psyche might not all the way be there and I won't be able to stick with my plan. And that's huge. You want to stick with your plan because that's a huge part of trading. So, but once I saw this part, once I saw this action right here, had tons of resistance, came back down, went red for a second, came back up, I was paying very close attention because what I was wanting to see is a lower high, which is what we got. We got a high here, and a lower high here, 272, and then we're going red again. And I was hoping if this goes red again and has a drop, which it did, it actually, for some reason, Thinkorswim froze. Their whole application froze, so it didn't pick up a couple of minutes, maybe 1 minute or two, and it refreshed right here. But when it broke this level, which is 265, which is where it bounced right here and then bounced again, I went short, risking this 270 level because I'm thinking, okay, it tried to go green. All these people, look at this volume right here. The volume is huge because that means a lot of people are buying it, right? So all the people who bought all right here, which is the volume it had all day, pretty much. I mean, let's go. That's the most volume it had all day. So all this volume, when this came in, and they're not being profitable, I mean, they're already underwater, then when it breaks this low day, then I have a good indication that this is going to hold red. I like the setup, so I went short, and I went short full size again, risking, this time I had a better entry, 264, and I was risking 272. So at that moment, I was thinking to myself, okay, no big deal. This is a setup I'm comfortable with. If this is a for sure red day, we could have some further downside. And that's what we had. Let me zoom out here and go to the full picture. So I took some profits off, took a quarter off at like 248 level, so for like 20 cents a share. And then took another quarter off right here in the 240s when I was testing this low of the day in the pre-market. And then took another quarter off right here in 230s, and then another quarter off. Actually, I held another quarter right here during this consolidation. And the reason I was holding is because I was going to give it some time, because I know first red days, sometimes it can continue to go further down. And remember, this is up from $1. So knowing that, I'm going to make sure I'm going to be patient. Now, whenever this came back down, bounced to 240, yeah, that's bounced off that support, which is kind of made me concerned, but I only have a quarter size left, so I could be patient. And it's red on the day, which is another thing. That's on my side. And we just had this huge panic, so that's another thing on my side. So every bounce is going to be met with a lot of people trying to get out and at least break even or something of the sort. So when we bounced back up here in 250s again and then failed, bounced at 240, then a lower high in the 249s, couldn't even break 250, came back down. I was feeling really good about this. And I thought, okay, we're going to get a test of the lows here at 230. And if we can break it, I figured we can go to test 220, which was very important, because if you zoom out here, 220 was actually, you'll see right here in the pre-market, 220 is significant. And if it broke that level, we don't have support into the ones, which is huge, which is what I was going for. So when we bounce here, when we break down, sorry, my neck. When we break down this level and finally break 230, but barely broke it, I took half of my last quarter size off right here in this break because it was holding. So I took it off at 227, 226, and then when we bounced off pretty strong here and hit 232, I took the rest off. And so overall, it came up to being a profitable day, which is nice. But at the end of the day, I'm just proud that I stuck to my plan and stuck to the watch list, because this was on my watch list that I post on Instagram. I share it with all of you guys. Be sure to watch it. I know there's a couple other followers on Instagram who text me throughout the day and show me what they're making, and they're making some good cash, which is awesome. Good for them, and they're growing, and they also trade differently than me. But it's the same principles, and they're using my watch list, and some are finding some without the watch list. It's also because they trade different, right? But that's my trade. The idea was this is overextended, had huge volume, and then we're first red day. And yeah, you could have shorted right here. Perfect short, maybe 268. But I didn't want to re-short it because I didn't like that it held this 220s, because now it's showing me 220s is a significant level. And now we have 240s holding again. So I just didn't want to risk that. But at the end of the day, my plan was, if this holds red, I'm going to be short, and I'm going to take profits along the way. And that's what I did. Hopefully this makes sense. Let me know if you have any questions. Definitely let me know. Again, my plan was a short because it's first red day. It's a huge runner. Has tons of volatility, which I need range. Has big volume, which means I can get in and out very easily. And it's one of my patterns that I like. And that's the key. You guys stick to the patterns that you like. So I hope you guys like this. Subscribe. Hit the thumbs up. Give me some comments, some feedback, and be sure, if you haven't found me on Instagram, most of you have since you're on YouTube now, look me up on Instagram at B_the_story. Love to see you on there. I interact with everyone and anyone who sends me a message. But other than that, guys, you guys take care.